Welcome back to another episode at Consciously Evolving Enterprises. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Ryan Dillon Brasington. I'm being a little bit quiet right now because it is almost 11 p.m. where I am at the moment, but I hope you guys are here to get some guidance and support, maybe listen to a story of familiarity. Um, Maybe you want some guidance to overcome that tragedy. Maybe you want some support to get through this difficulty in your life. Maybe you want some advice to help overcome these barriers that you continually face in your life for unknown reasons. You don't know why it keeps on happening. Well, that's why I'm here, guys. I'm here to share my stories and that hopefully you guys get something from those. So today's story is from when I was a child. It does contain some major domestic violence. So if you guys are not comfortable with that, I'd turn it off now because this one is a pretty tragic one. And it's something that I needed to address in my adult life, which I have now done. And I want to share with you guys how to overcome those childhood tragedies now that you're an adult. And what do you do when those feelings, those emotions, those memories come up? You have overwhelming feelings of doom, gloom, depression, anxiety for these things that you face. Especially when they happen in the workplace, reminding you of that childhood tragedy. So, look, I know it can be difficult, but it is something we, as an adult, we need to address. And this is what I want to help support and guide you through, maybe give you some advice. Maybe you share some familiarity with my story. And hey, listen to afterwards, and I'll give you guys my three-step process of the professionals and the way I concluded and got closure from my own personal tragedy, which unfortunately was domestic violence. Being a young 8-year-old child and being headbutted by my father, who had come home drunk from the pub one night. This, it happened just as quick as I'd said it, but the series of domestic violence episodes leading up before and after, continued to perpetuate to the point where I was a teen, ended up leaving home. So on this night, Dad's out drinking at the pub. Mum is wondering where he was. We don't have mobile phones back in this day. So literally, we're waiting around with a cold dinner on the table, waiting for Dad to come home. Finally, stumbles in the door. Mum states she's had enough. She's sick of this behavior. And the next thing I know, my father has my right hand and my mother has my left. And they're playing tug of war with me left and right. I'm in the middle with my head wobbling, going, I don't really know what's going on here. I'm happy they're fighting over me, whatever. So next thing I know, my dad goes, well, if I can't have him, nobody can. And that's when he grabbed me by both ears to the side of the head and smashed his face into mine. Look, at that point, I lost consciousness, dribbled to the floor like a pile of water. Um, and don't remember anything until, a couple of days after when Mom took me out to Uncle Buck's and we got this humongous steak. It was bigger than my face, half the size of the plate. But I do remember it was delicious. But also having that bandage on my face, and going to the X-ray center, and having the X-rays done, and seeing my skull, which I thought was pretty cool. But looking at a broken nose of a 8-year-old child caused by his father, and anyway, at this point, this is a tragedy that I look back on and I go, wow, what happened to this poor kid and how did he overcome, this in his adult life? And for me, guys, look, it was really having that friend that you can rely on to be open and honest with. You know that they're going to laugh. You know that they're going to, have a good time with you telling the story, although it is tragic. They can laugh along with you, as well as cry when the time comes and it needs to be. That you've got that trusted person that you can find, that non-judgmental openness with. And if you can't find that, I honestly just suggest calling Lifeline 13 11 14 and having that same conversation with them. It's what they're there for, not just for the end of line conversation, but those leading up to such thoughts as well. And again, guys, if you like the way that I overcome this in a real detailed event, or a detailed situation, I suggest you guys continue follow the links down below, and I will share my 3-step process. And if you're really want to make some change today, please find my email, which is above. You can email me and we'll organize a consultation, and we'll go from there. Yeah, excellent. So guys, thank you so much for sharing and listening to today's story. I know that such a tragic incident for a child can be hard to listen to, let alone overcome as an adult. So I really want to share with you guys some of those instances where I felt closure, whether that was breath work and the organization that I contacted, whether that was the counseling and the organization that I spoke to, and, even to some forms of compensation. Where can I get some compensation for the tragedies that I had as a child that were influenced by my parents, the organizations that I was involved with, public and government organizations as well. Just before we go, I'd like to say one of the reasons I do audio recording is because of that incident, that tragic headbutt that I did receive from my father when I was young. I have extremely dark circles, like major black eyes under my eyes. For me, it's a real ego buster, kicking the balls for confidence. But look, it's one of the reasons I don't like seeing myself recorded, because I look like the Addams Family Uncle Fester. So please forgive me, but it is one of the reasons I do prefer audio. I'm going to look into doing video. I know it reaches more in that, but I want to connect with you guys on the same level that I feel when I do audio. It's something I've practiced, I'm confident with. Where video, I'm like, yeah. Anyway, so please like, subscribe, do what you kids do these days. Cheers, bye.